Here's your wrestling news for December 13th, 2022. And we're kicking off with WWE, and the company has a wellness policy that every superstar is subject to, and now one of the company's most popular stars has failed this test. Last week, Solo Sikoa demolished Matt Riddle on Raw, resulting in the original Bro being stretchered away and a 6-week injury hiatus being announced, but Riddle isn't actually hurt. Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net reports that Riddle has failed the wellness policy, and from the sounds of it, this is far from his first violation. Sources have told me that the reason for pushing back the match at SummerSlam was because Riddle failed a drug test leading up to SummerSlam. This was also the last test under Vince McMahon's regime. With Vince no longer in charge, a new creative direction was taken regarding Riddle, and his big match against Rollins was postponed until Clash at the Castle. Additionally, I was told that the company informed Riddle at the time that another failed drug test would result in a rehab or fired situation similar to what happened with Jeff Hardy previously. Haynes added that WWE wrote Riddle off TV because of his failed drug test, and that he will be sent to rehab, and that another failed test will result in more rehab or even termination, meaning this is likely his second violation. While it is known that Riddle is a big weed fan, the substance that led to this suspension is far more serious than marijuana, which WWE is reportedly not even finding talent for using anymore. The former US champion will at least have the chance to spend some more time with his new girlfriend, an adult film star by the name of Misha Montana. On Instagram, Montana confirmed that the two are seeing each other, sharing photos of the couple making out. Riddle had been married for years before his now ex-wife Lisa divorced him after the Raw superstar admitted to having an affair when he was accused of sexual assault by Candy Cartwright. Riddle's personal problems would ultimately find their way on WWE TV and were referenced by Seth Rollins during the intense promo just days before their match at Clash at the Castle. Triple H is said to be furious as hell about Riddle dating an adult film star, believing it is vehemently against WWE's PG product, and while he knows he can't force the couple to split, it's reported that this was a factor in the decision to send Riddle to rehab. Matt Riddle may be one of WWE's most popular superstars on Raw, but the original Bro is on thin ice, and one more violation of the wellness policy like this could see him out of the company. What's your take on Riddle's situation? Sound off in the comments below. For years, Brock Lesnar has been one of WWE's biggest stars and has fittingly faced some of wrestling's biggest names at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, Kurt Angle, and The Undertaker are just a handful of names to take on the Beast at WrestleMania, but next year's match may be the most physical of them all. Sources who spoke to WrestlingNews.co revealed that at this time, the internal WrestleMania 39 match card sees Lesnar go up against none other than the reigning Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. After asking someone who's familiar with the creative plans, WrestlingNews.co was told that Lesnar vs. Gunther is one of the matches listed internally for the show. Gunther has talked about wanting the match because he feels that a match with Lesnar would present the biggest possible challenge for him. It was later confirmed that match has been locked for WrestleMania 39, and that the storyline will actually borrow from one of Brock's angles from his first WWE run. It was during the 2004 Royal Rumble event that a backstage confrontation between Lesnar and Goldberg would later see Brock attack the Hall of Famer during the Rumble match, resulting in Goldberg's elimination. Sources have indicated that this will play out at next month's Rumble event between Lesnar and Gunther, kickstarting their feud and a match at WrestleMania. Wrestling News added that Lesnar is also scheduled for next month's Royal Rumble Premium Live event, as well as the Elimination Chamber event in February. Fans will get to see plenty of Lesnar on the road to WrestleMania, but they should enjoy seeing the Beast, as reports have noted that the Gunther match will be Brock's final match before he retires for good, and the plan is for Gunther to win. It's not uncommon for wrestlers to lose their final match, as it is seen as a sign of respect to the industry to put over a younger talent, something Brock will do with Gunther next April. Gunther has been on WWE's main roster for less than a year, but has risen through the ranks quickly, and he'll face his biggest challenge next year in Los Angeles to mark the end of Lesnar's incredible career in pro wrestling. So guys, what do you think about Lesnar's retirement and him going against Gunther at WrestleMania? Sound off in the comments below. In March of this year, William Regal debuted for AEW, a shocking move considering that he had only recently been released from WWE. The gentleman villain had worked for Vince McMahon for over 2 decades, And it turns out he may still have been working for WWE even after being released. According to sources within AEW who chose to remain anonymous, it is believed that McMahon deliberately sent Regal to AEW to learn about the company's booking practices from the inside. Several AEW personnel believed at the time of his arrival that Regal was in AEW to do more than just improve their product, with one AEW star saying, "I know the Pommy is here for a reason, and we all tried informing Tony, but we were skeptical, and our speculations turned out to be true when he chose to quit AEW after just a short span." It's certainly notable that Regal was able to join AEW so quickly after his January 2022 release from WWE, and while speaking to Inside the Ropes, the Brit exposed himself, saying how McMahon kept paying him even after he joined AEW. "Mr. McMahon was very good to me, to the point of, I will say this because whatever he's going through, he was excellent to me. I had a talent contract as well as an employee contract, and it didn't run out until the end of April. I started for AEW on the 7th of March. I didn't call anybody else. I sent a message straight to the boss. Hey boss, I've got this thing with Brian, and he loves Brian as well. Absolutely, you go, and he still paid me until the end of my talent contract. I was the only person who ever got paid by both companies at the same time." Now Regal is gone and on his way back to WWE, and is returning with knowledge of how Tony Khan's promotion operates behind the scenes. Regal isn't just returning to WWE, but he is returning to a much bigger position than he had before his release earlier this year. At the time of his departure, the former King of the Ring had been the NXT General Manager and a trainer at the Performance Center, but his next role will be much higher up the proverbial totem pole. PW Insider were the first to break the news that Regal will be a vice president upon his return to WWE next month, stating, "WWE sources have confirmed William Regal has officially come to terms on his new position with the company and will start the first week of January. We are told that Regal will have a vice president position in the company when he returns, but we have not heard what his official title or role will be." This is the biggest role yet for Regal, who had previously had significant influence backstage in NXT, but that was nothing compared to what he'll be doing very soon. With Regal gone, the Blackpool Combat Club is down a member, but it may be another WWE alum who fills his spot. It wasn't too long ago that Wheeler Yuta mentioned Nigel McGuiness as a possible replacement to Regal, and during the Battleground podcast, said he's open to the English star joining AEW. Nigel's awesome, and I think his style, obviously he's not active anymore, but his style fitting great with what we're doing, so yeah, I think he's great. While McGuiness would be a great fit to the group, Yuta added that for now, he believes that the group should just be himself, Moxley, Danielson, and Castagnoli, and said he's learned so much already from the three established names. McGuiness was with WWE from 2016 until October of this year, but the former ROH World Champion could soon be All Elite and part of the BCC. A lot has been said about Regal, Tony Khan, Triple H, and the various agreements that have apparently made his return happen, but one person who has kept quiet is Regal himself. On Twitter, the gentleman villain broke his silence, saying that there's a lot of news being spread about him, and that his fans should wait on him for any official news. Regal explained that any news about him that doesn't come from the man himself is at best secondhand information, which may still ultimately be accurate. Although there are plenty of reports that William Regal was headed to WWE, there is no official confirmation from either party, and we'll just have to wait for an official confirmation from the Blackpool Combat Club member. Do you think Vince McMahon sent Regal to AEW to learn their secrets? Let us know in the comments below. Over to Raw now, and this week's show suffered a major production error during one of the matches. On the show, Candice LeRae faced off against Io Sky, and, as you'd expect, the other Damage Control members weren't far behind. When Bayley joined Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves on commentary, though, the role model's headset didn't work, and WWE just cut to commercial without any talk-off. A technician tried to set up the headset for Bayley, who grew increasingly frustrated, and in the end, the former women's champion gave up on commentary and watched the action from ringside. On social media, fans responded to the mistake and poked fun at the fact that Bayley couldn't provide her insight into the match. Some suggested that perhaps this was all part of the show, playing off Bayley's hostility with Michael Cole, while others said that Graves should have given his headset to the Damage Control leader. Others said it was too bad that Bayley didn't have the chance to do commentary, as she's such a good talker. While situations like this are rare, they still happen. and it shows that for all the billions of dollars at their disposal, even WWE isn't immune to technological issues. Raw also saw Bayley in action as she faced Alexa Bliss, with the winner earning a title match with Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. In the end, it was Bliss who emerged victorious, hitting Twisted Bliss to earn the title match, but she had a much different finisher in mind after the bout. When Belair came to the ring to congratulate Bliss, the goddess of WWE went into a trance and caught the EST in position for Bray Wyatt's finisher, the Sister Abigail. Fans will remember that Bliss used the move for over a year as part of her demented character, which saw the former women's champion align with Wyatt. Bliss would later return to her senses and left the ring, leaving Belair both worried and surprised by her next challenger. Since Wyatt's return, WWE has been teasing the return of the Dark Alexa character, but this week's Raw was the biggest hint of that character's impending return. Wyatt could very well be recruiting Alexa for the rumored Wyatt 6 faction, and if so, it could be Bray who makes the difference during this title match, distracting Belair like he did on this week's Raw and aiding Bliss in winning the title. Do you think Bliss should reunite with Wyatt? Or is Dark Alexa better going it alone? Let us know your views in the comments below. Since being founded in 2019, AEW has never shied away from hiring ex-WWE talent, but this week, the company picked up one of the most influential WWE names to work behind the scenes. PW Insider were the first to report that AEW has hired Michael Mansbury as a senior VP and co-executive producer after scouting AEW shows for the past few weeks. From 2009 to 2010, Mansbury worked backstage at WWE, becoming the promotion's vice president of global television production, and Triple H was said to be fond of his work. When Vince McMahon retired earlier this year, there was an assumption that Kevin Dunn would be replaced by Mansbury, as the now AEW employee had for years been considered Dunn's successor. Triple H reportedly wanted to bring him back as soon as he was in charge, but the chances of that were always unlikely due to the feeling that Mansbury wouldn't come back unless he took over for Dunn, who, according to one source in WWE, still hasn't budged from his spot. Sources in WWE who spoke to Fightful said that while Mansbury impressed the right people, there was no chance of him moving up the corporate ladder unless Dunn stepped aside, which of course didn't happen. Another source said that when Triple H took over, it was believed that the Game would bring Mansbury back to WWE 2 years after leaving of his own accord in 2020, but felt that he wouldn't return unless it was to take over Dunn's spot. Talent and staff in both WWE and AEW are said to be pleased with his hiring by the latter promotion and believe it will go a long way in helping Tony Khan's promotion. One WWE source called Mansbury a good hiring as he's in touch with AEW's demographic, while another WWE source who has been heavily critical of AEW called this Tony Khan's most important hiring this year. Mansbury is well respected as an experienced producer, and the belief is that he will greatly improve the company's content and also increase the production quality. 2022 has been a wild year for wrestling and has seen many WWE names make the jump to AEW, but now Michael Mansbury will be bringing his 11 years of experience, a move that could seriously improve the product. And we're ending today with Roman Reigns, who at WrestleMania 38 became the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, but unifying the two titles was a decision the company quickly regretted. Only having one world champion has meant that Raw is often without a top superstar, which has caused serious friction between WWE and the USA Network. It was recently reported that one solution being discussed backstage is for the titles to be split at WrestleMania 39, with Reigns defending each title on each night of the two-day event. When Ringside News asked around, though, they were told that there are no plans for Reigns to wrestle twice at next year's WrestleMania. If Reigns is to wrestle just once, then the big question is who will his sole opponent be, as Cody Rhodes and The Rock are the two favorites to step up to the Tribal Chief next April. With The Rock being considered a virtual lock for WrestleMania, and matches from John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin also expected, WrestleMania 39 will be one of the biggest manias WWE has ever done, but expect just one match from the head of the table. That's our news for today, guys. Please watch our previous video, 15 WWE wrestlers who passed away in 2022.